Hi, I'm Norman Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me as we explore places to go and things to do in the metropolitan area. Westchester County is a gold mine of activities, but strangely enough, the people who live here and those who visit do not really partake of them as much as they should. Today we're going to talk about all of the things that are available to visitors and to residents of Westchester County. My guest today is Richard Eisley, the president of the Westchester Convention and Visitors Bureau. Dick, you know, it fascinates me that just like residents of New York City who never go to the top of the Empire State Building or visit the Statue of Liberty, that people who live in Westchester do not really fully partake of the wonderful things that Westchester has to offer. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I don't know. People, when I lived in New York City, people said, "You've never been to the Statue of Liberty? I can't believe it. Let's go, you dummy," and they grab them. This is what you have to do with people, with Westchesterites. We'll travel to London, we'll travel to Paris, we'll go on to Rome, and yet we haven't seen that this is one of the most fascinating, pound for pound, square mile for square mile counties any part of the United States. This is the home of the Sleepy Hollow legend.
That's true.
Washington Irving's magnificent books at the beginning of the 19th century detail life on the Hudson River. If you haven't been to Sunnyside, I suggest that you pack a picnic hamper and it's warm enough right now to pack a picnic hamper and go out there and see the magnificent sight from this place. Sleepy Hollow legend is just one thing. We've got Lyndhurst, the home of Jay Gould. We've got
Lyndhurst. Just to interrupt you here for a minute. Lyndhurst happens to be one of my favorites.
The summer concerts. Do you go to those?
Yeah, they're really great, and there are several coming up. I know that there's a wonderful jazz concert coming up in July with Dick Kapp and the Philharmonia Virtuosi.
It's only a few dollars.
Yes.
Take your lunch, take your dinner, whatever it is. When you park, people will tend to set their blanket down far in the back. I suggest that you walk far in front the way I do, and you can sit right in front of the orchestra and have that magnificent drop of that Gothic mansion right behind, and then the broad sweep of the Hudson River as the sun goes down. You can't buy a view like that.
And that mansion is really something.
It's gorgeous.
Inside, just the tours that they take the people
Period
through.
Furniture, the way the wealthy lived in the last century.
I saw a great picture of Lyndhurst taken from the air.
Yeah.
And that's a view that...
It's in our tour guide.
It is in your tour guide,
Yes.
right. Very few people get a chance to see it from that perspective.
That's right.
And it's astounding what it is. What are some of the other attractions?
Don't forget Playland, the first totally planned amusement park built in the United States.
I didn't know that.
At one time it had been called Beck's Beach and Campground. The county took it over in about 1928, I believe, and they lived with Beck, and they stayed in his office, and they watched how he ran an amusement park. And then they said, "Okay, we buy it from you now. We know how to run one. We're going to build it." And today, with its Art Deco matching the county center on the Bronx River Parkway, is really an interest. It's beautiful. It's nice to go there with your family. It reminds me of European amusement parks because it's got this wonderful park in the center right in front of the band platform, where you can sit down, no one bothers you. If you want a drink, you can whistle for a waiter to come over and have a drink. Otherwise, you can sit under the trees, listen to the entertainment, and then go back to the rides.
One of the best rides, I think, but not for me, is the roller coaster.
You mean the Dragon Coaster, sir?
Is that what it's called?
That's the one. Last time I took my scout troop, I was wearing my uniform, by the way, at a camporee, and I went on it 6 times. Some old fella came over and said, "My boy, you got a lot of courage." Anyway, it's a great place, and you can never be too old to enjoy it there because there's even a kiddie land, lots of rides for young kids, and the older folks, of course, have a variety of restaurants, little parks to sit down. We're very proud of Playland.
You mentioned the county center,
Yeah.
and I'm fascinated as I drive up the Bronx River Parkway and pass by and see the crowds pouring in or pouring out. I try to guess what type of an attraction is there, and it's very hard to do that because it has such a varied number of things that take place.
Lots of spectacles, basketball, wrestling events, lots of trade shows, antiques, stamps, coins, that sort of thing. It has trade shows as well. 2 weeks ago was the Beneath the Sea show.
Right.
That was delightful. Right. The diving industry likes to congregate there because remember that in Westchester and around it surround counties of a lot of people that have money to to have diving as a hobby.
And architecturally, of course,
Gorgeous.
it had a very
Art
extensive Art Deco and very extensive renovation a few years ago.
A couple of years ago, yes.
And it's really beautiful just
Quite
to
nice.
look at it and see what's
Yeah.
there. What would you say are some of the other outstanding
Well, one of my
places?
favorites in spring, which is now, we could use a little bit more water, but Croton Dam in spate, meaning the water rushing high over the dam, is, they say, and believe it or not, and some other columns, that it's the eighth wonder of the world. And I think it is. There's a beautiful little park at the bottom. Again, take family, take your picnic hamper, park your car down there, or stay up on the top and just drive along the dam drive around the Croton Dam. You'll really find it quite attractive.
Well, when I was a lot younger and before I lived in Westchester, I enjoyed visiting the Kensico Dam.
Kensico as well.
That great, wonderful wall, which is unbelievable.
Which, by the way, is the scene all spring of all types of festivals, ethnic, sports, etc. And I want to tell anyone that's watching that they may call my office to get the county calendar of events. And if you have a weekend in which you can spring free for, say, a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's suddenly sunny, it's nice to have this county calendar, because you'll say, what can I do today where the kids can have their fun, I can see some spectacle, maybe even see a band playing, learn a certain kind of a dance, a craft show. With the county calendar, they can do that.
It covers what extent?
We try to get it out before the 3 months are over, but it's a nice calendar. It is prepared by the counties, distributed by my office, and Kensico Dam is one of the great sites for a lot of events.
And the Kensico Dam, of course, is at the Bronx River Parkway.
Bronx River Parkway in Valhalla. I think it's Valhalla.
Yeah, Valhalla, and that itself, the Bronx River Parkway itself, is
The last of the greats.
It was, I believe, the first parkway in the world, I believe.
First parkway
And set a lot of
designed as a
patterns.
parkway. I hope personally it doesn't get widened too much, but I understand traffic requirements. Cars are bigger and faster these days, and I can understand. I just hope they don't knock those gorgeous old stone bridges down.
Yes, yes. Well, they are doing something up near Valhalla where they are rerouting the road but saving the bridge, and I think that's a great thing to be done.
Sure.
So what else is on your list of wonderful places?
Oh, boy. Sunnyside, Lyndhurst we talked about. Of course, Yonkers Raceway. Now, forget about horse betting. Yonkers Raceway is an experience. It's a beautiful oval track. The dinner that is provided upstairs during the day, in the afternoon, and in the evening. It's a 12-month-a-year event, by the way, and it's enclosed with large panoramic windows. It's quite an experience. It's one of the homes of the early days of harness racing, Yonkers Raceway, and I am asked about that as probably our county's most popular sporting event.
Really?
Oh, sure. And we provide visitors with all kinds of information that we can to it.
The annual county fair is held there?
Annual county fair, as a matter of fact, in June is held there. It's very popular,
Yeah.
2-week period.
Yeah, and it's always great to watch those great Ferris wheels turning around as you go by on,
Yes, it is
on
nice.
the
It is
thruway.
nice.
Yeah. But Westchester has appeal not only for people who live here, who should really use it more, but it's a great tourist attraction for others.
We are attempting to bring in foreign people, as I told you, because not so many domestic tours can find their way these days. We are making an attempt to bring foreign groups. We have joined the Receptive Services Association, so we're bringing in foreign groups on a steady basis because the foreigner, for some reason, is more used to getting on a bus, and when the door opens, he expects an event, he gets back on, he closes. He doesn't care what county he's in, what state he's in, what city he's in. And so we are in the position as a tourist bureau, convention bureau, to talk to those group organizers that will tell foreign people where to go. Come up outside of Manhattan for a couple of days. Come see us. See our incredible attractions. The home of the Sleepy Hollow legend. The home of Croton Dam. The home of all those magnificent Gothic, as I told you before, the wonderful Rockefeller people that have funded the historic Hudson Valley attractions are now opening their own home in '94.
The Rockefeller Estate.
Rockefeller Estate, Kaikud, I think it's called.
Kaikud, yeah.
With a nice view of the Hudson. This magnificent home with evidently the greatest collection of private liveries and coaches in the country, which will also draw that kind of a buff to the county.
Won't be open for a few years.
A couple of years, but how many Convention Bureau people like myself can say that in one afternoon we're going to have a magnificent new attraction plunked right into the center of the county? Not so many. So we're looking forward very
And there are a lot of events that you're planning too, and I know I like to refer to you as Mr. Tourism
Thank you.
in Westchester, but you're really an experienced event planner, and you've got some major spectacles and events up your sleeve.
Yes, as I mentioned, we are giving a 3-day familiarization tour of the county to bus owners, people who have that control motor coach tours. We're bringing them in for 3 days. We're showing them the best part of our county so that they will go back and arrange to have their many, many tour organizers to come to the county. Mm-hmm. You see, the Westchesterites, if you were on a plane hovering 100 miles above, you would see that Westchester has an incredible location. That's one of, as they say in real estate, location. Mm-hmm. It's one of the greatest attractions is our location. We've got 287, 684, 95, and a half a dozen parkways. We're often the county that people shoot through without thinking about stopping because of our location.
But if people do stop, it's a hub to go into other directions, isn't it?
That's it. And so we wish to sell it as a hub to the national motor coach industry. And we say, stay in our hotels, and we will arrange to make every one of your days with us very filled with attractions. This makes Manhattan one of Westchester's tourist attractions. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And the Manhattanites have turned around and said, me first, can we get on your itineraries? The yacht people, the restaurant people, the theater people, the Bronx Zoo, the Botanical Garden in the Bronx have all said, may we be part of your Westchester itineraries when you bring bus groups to the county. And we said yes.
You mentioned the hotels.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with quite a few of the hotels, and most of them are on great settings. I think that's what's very interesting.
They're all first class, attested first class in quality, and many of them are on the grounds where they appeal to convention and meeting groups. Places like Stouffer, Westchester, Marriott, the two Hiltons. You can walk around the grounds. In addition to the amenities of swimming pools, athletic facilities, one can walk around the grounds. Stouffer is a popular place for weddings because the home of the owner that once owned the land is right beside the hotel, and the grounds there are a perfect setting for wedding pictures.
A lot of people don't know that that the man who owned that house and that mansion is the man who designed some of our most famous buildings in New York City and around the world.
Right.
And it's really a historic place when you get down to it. There's a lot of historic. And talk about something more modern and not quite as historic, and that's the grounds of PepsiCo, which is a marvelous outdoor sculpture
gardens. They're beautiful. A lot of bus groups like to come to there. Visitors that stay in the nearby hotels, and as many of them that are quite nearby, will take their cars over, or the buses will the hotel shuttle buses will take them over to see that area. Quite pretty. It's very nice of the PepsiCo people to do that for us.
Yes, and it's open to the public. It's open every day of the week, and you can drive in and drive around and park your car in a special area where they do give you a map and a guide to all of the sculpture that's out there.
Exactly so.
And when I drive through there, I take visitors there a lot. I consider that to be one of the highlights to take out of towners.
That's true.
And what I like to see is that there are a lot of people who are jogging around those roads, and that is something that PepsiCo has done, is to make that available.
The Parks Department has just finished a contest called My Favorite Walk. They will be publicizing the results of that. The contest graded people according to their age, like under 35, 35 to 45. What is your favorite walk? Describe it. And they had some winners of the contest. Realize that all the way from as far south as New Rochelle and all the way up to North Salem, you can find interesting walks according to the gradient and difficulty and the time you want to spend and what you want to see on the way and do at the end of it. Say you're 55, you want to walk for 2 hours, you want to see 2 historic attractions and have a nice restaurant at the end, it's possible. And we want to make that available.
And when you mention walks, I think of the Croton Aqueduct.
Oh, well, it goes all the way. I mean, that's a magnificent historical thing that happened to this county because of New York City's necessity a century ago for water. So they developed the reservoirs, but they had to have it go through a pipe. Today, the pipe is largely unused, by the way. But over the pipe is a natural walkway. It's a hiker and biker paradise. And my office gets a lot of calls from Manhattanites, Long Islanders, and people along the Jersey coast, places where they don't have chlorophyll and oxygen anymore. And they say, where can we go that we can bike for an hour and not run into any trouble with breaking any laws? Where can we hike for 2 hours? And it's our pleasure, my office's pleasure, to say, would you like to get off the train at this stop, or get off the train at that stop? Would you like to go to the Pound Ridge, Ward Pound Ridge Reservation? Would you like to go to the Blue Mountain Reservation? We'll even take them to the smaller parks. A lot of great interest in that, walking.
Yeah, and biking, I know during the spring and summer months that the Bronx River Parkway is closed to automobiles, and it's Biker Sundays.
Sure is, from 10 till 2, every Sunday from May to August, I believe. Brings out thousands. And it's graded nicely so that people that are actually only strolling and not jogging, say people that are pushing babies in carriages, stay to the right, fast bikes to the left. And it's all policed.
We talk about all of these wonders of Westchester. There are some, perhaps, that aren't as well known. One of the places that I like to visit is the Tarrytown Lighthouse.
That is a favorite. You have to walk out on a nice walkway. The Kingsland Point Lighthouse even has a small museum of river memorabilia, lighthouse memorabilia. I think you have to check with my office on the times and dates in which that's open before you go out. But it adjoins a very pretty park.
Yes.
So you won't be wasting your time.
Yes.
And remember, it's right in the middle of Sleepy Hollow. And I know something you don't know, Norman. If you went into the burial ground of the old Dutch church, which is one of the oldest churches in this part of the country, you will see the names on the headstones of the characters that are written in the Sleepy Hollow books. The Headless Horseman and Rip Van Winkle. The Van Tassel family, Katrina Van Tassel, whom Ichabod Crane and Brom Bones vied for the hand of her affections, the Van Tassels are there.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and just above that on a rise is the family plot of Washington Irving. So it's sort of like he's still overseeing his characters.
Dick, you know you've just done. You found the one thing I don't know.
Glad to. I got another one. You haven't mentioned today the St. Paul's National Historic Museum and Cathedral. Did you know there is the...
Where is that located?
That's in Mount Vernon on Route 22, White Plains Road sometimes called, is the sister bell to the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia,
I didn't know
and this
that.
one's not cracked. We're talking about 300-year-old bell.
Now, is that open to the public?
Open to the public. It's open to the public. It's not exactly 8 hours a day. Check with my office or call them directly.
All right. Another choice find that maybe you don't know about, I'll find one somewhere along the way, is the Octagon House in Irvington. You know about it.
I have seen it, but it's not open to the public.
No, it's not open. It's a private residence.
Beauty. I love to drive around it.
Yes, it's a great house, and they've done some remarkable work in restoring it, and it's a great place to see.
They've got to open it for us.
There are, of course, architecturally, there are just great places in Westchester, in all parts, in some of the older sections. I know that the oldest house in Westchester, for example, is going to be taken over by the Historic Society. It's in Rye Town, I believe. Oh, I found something you don't know.
You certainly did.
I
thought you were going to say the Miller House in North White Plains, which became briefly Washington's headquarters when Washington was fighting the British around North White Plains and Yorktown. They just had the 260th celebration of Washington's birthday. I was down there. That was a lot of fun. The volunteers dress up in period, and they stay in period the way they talk to you all day.
Really?
You can't say, in real life, sir, what was your name, General Washington? You will stay in period the entire
It's
time.
role-playing like they do in Sturbridge and Plymouth Plantation, where the people actually study and know and speak as if they were in that time.
Exactly so.
It's a great experience.
In the, I guess there was the living room. Washington, who was a tall role player in this case, he was wearing a wig, and his officers with the tri-cornered hats, beautifully in period costume, there they were planning their offensive against the British. And in the kitchen, the women in big hoop skirts and in the little bonnets were baking bread according to the recipe of the time and churning butter. And the children were dressed in period. Hundreds of people were there that day. The police were having an awful time with the parking, but it was a grand thing. I wrote it up in our newsletter. So
that's really a
lot to do here.
There is a lot to. And how do people find out about them? Are there any tours now in existence that people can go out and take a tour, take a bus tour, or drive in their own cars and follow a pattern?
Drive in your own car, send for our tour guide, send for our travel guide, and we'll talk to you on the phone, because we can keep you busy for 3 days. But you generally don't have 3 days. Tell us how much time you have and what you prefer to see, and my office will talk you through it. But I think what you're really asking, Norman, is it's about time someone inside the county set up a series of tours such that if a person comes into Manhattan, a foreigner, a person from outside the city, and says, I've got 1 day and I want to get on a bus, just like anybody, like what I do in Manhattan on Gray Line. I want to get on a bus and see the county. It's not been set up yet.
Let's repeat the telephone number where people can call your office and ask for the information. What is that number?
948-0047.
That's 914.
948-0047. Call us. It's our purpose. We're happy to help you.
Right. And let's talk about events and projects that you have. I know that your background is such that you like to plan events.
Yep.
And I'm sure you have some up your sleeve.
The one I have up my sleeve, I've sort of been asked by the hotel people to get it going. I would like to have a large fall festival. The first that we could possibly do would be 93. I don't know where to site it. There are so many capabilities. We should use both of our shores. How many counties have 2 shores? We do, and they're beautiful. Right now, New Rochelle has a beautiful 1-week event in July called their Waterfront Festival. Over the years, they've developed that such that there's activities out on the water and activities on shore for sailor as well as just families and kids. But I want something in which we can say it's countywide, so that I can appeal to bus groups from across the country, and I can get into the mainstream of newspaper and electronic publicity, so that I can establish it as an event. Because if anybody ever developed fall colors, Westchester doesn't have to take its hat off to anybody. I lived overseas for 3 years in which there wasn't a leaf or any chlorophyll on an island, and that was the one season of the year that I missed the most of all.
But you're just talking about fall colors,
Yeah.
and I think that maybe we ought to dwell a little bit about the spring colors and the summer colors.
Well, we can do that. What we do with azaleas and dogwoods on some of the streets of our nice neighborhoods are so fantastic that, as a matter of fact, I've had it in the back of my mind to put together just a brochure at no great expenditure, which would show the person calling in, I'll be in your county in May or June. Where should I go? Here, drive down this street, turn left, turn right. Because our native gardeners are so good here.
That's a really great idea. I really think you ought to do that.
That'll cost nothing. Just advice from people. What's your favorite street? That's really what I'd like to know.
Yeah, that's very
What's your best
similar
street?
to when they publish great Christmas decorations and houses that you can see during the Christmas season. And I know that people come by the hundreds, because I do it, and I see a lot of people there taking pictures. And you could do just the same thing. Someone once told me to go down a certain road and turn left, and you'll see the most interesting garden that you've ever seen. And they may throw you off because you're on private property, but tell them you were lost.
Has to be updated, too, because gardeners change their mind. Things change, and so do roads. But you talked about Christmas. You touched on a great thing. The historic Hudson Valley people, Lyndhurst, Sunnyside, Phillipsburg Manor, Van Cortlandt Manor, Pocanico Church, these people at Christmas time, John J. Homestead at Katona, these people do magnificent jobs. If you've got a chance to get away from your hustle and bustle at Christmas, call one of them up and get to go to one of their candlelight ceremonies, tree trimming ceremonies, when they make the cinnamon and hot apple cider. For a few dollars, you will enjoy a slice of Americana 200 years old. I went to Sunnyside just a few days before Christmas, and as you walk down the path, you feel like you're falling back in time. There is a coachman holding a lantern, greets you in the door, stays in period the entire time, walk in the door, go into the study. There is a man, a volunteer, dressed, looks like Washington Irving, introduces himself, tells what he's doing, turns you over to his biographer. Biographer says what he's doing about Mr. Irving, points you upstairs, up you go. You wish you had a mini cam on your to take all this down. Upstairs is a researcher working on another book, tells you to go downstairs where the Irish girls that have imported, who work in the kitchen, are preparing a Christmas meal.
Take you right back in time.
And there are 2 women also dressed in period who are his nieces, and they're playing on a spinet. songs that are 200 years old. Everything is candle lit, not an electric light. I'm telling you, you're transported in time.
And there isn't any other place that you could see that.
Where are they
You
gonna
have
do that?
attractions, certainly not in this area. And but I still don't understand. I want to come back to my first question. Why is it that people in this area do not partake, or maybe they do?
Some
I
do.
always wonder about that.
Not all do. They have to be shown. People just never consider that they live in the middle of a great attraction. They don't.
I guess that holds true everywhere. So basically, in order to see something that is important, you have to travel to get there in people's minds, and yet people from all over the world will come here to see the exact same thing.
Most Parisians have never been on the top of the Eiffel Tower. Name one American who's been to Paris who hasn't.
That's right.
Name one foreigner that's come to New York that hasn't been to the Statue of Liberty.
Absolutely right.
Maybe in the back of your mind you keep saying, well, any day now I'll get there, but not today. I'm very busy with what I do in life. So enjoy your own territory is what I'm saying.
Deep down inside of you, what is the outstanding aspect of Westchester?
The one spot?
I'll let you decide whether it's a spot or an aspect. Or
of the 2,000 or 2,500 counties in the 50 states of the United States, this county is the home of the Sleepy Hollow legend. Now you'll say, what's that? From one man's books? Yes, but it also is an enormous slice of the most beautiful period of the cleanest values of American history. There's counties that would fight us for it if they could steal it from us. We take history as if it's something that exists everywhere. Once you get west of the Hudson, it took a long time to make history. Chicago hasn't got any history yet. I'm from there. And the Californians are trying to make it with Hollywood. We have it here. And people will come from a far place to see it.
And on that note, I think it's a fine note to wind up our very enthusiastic and very verbal and very eloquent discussion of Westchester County. And I thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you, Norman.
My guest today has been Richard Eisley, the president of the Westchester Convention and Visitors Bureau. Thank you for joining us, and until the next time, enjoy yourself.